All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you, Chris, King Mako. A lot of you guys checking in here quickly. It's good to be back on Big Fox today, so I'll be able to watch on my television as well as on YouTube TV. Toyota's already looking strong. Byron's moved up a bit. Elliott's kind of stuck though. Let's check in on Alex Bowman. It's sad I have to scroll down this far, but I knew he would be down here. 29th. Kyle Busch, he was pretty upset with Denny Hamlin's comments this last week, saying he has no prospects outside of RCR and probably just needs to retire. I thought that was a bit much. I thought it was across the line. I don't think you should comment on someone's career, not while they're active. Christian, that's funny. Said time to see how many lap cars the Toyotas crashed today. Yeah, you can. I didn't update the thumbnail. I woke up like 10 minutes ago. I got up early to see a rocket launch and then it got delayed several hours. Stream settings here. Perfect. Oh, nope. Good to see you, Doodlebug. Double A. Instead of just blue, it depends on partially, you know, what your favorite color is. I mean, that's a big portion of it, but also like what kind of clothes that you normally wear. If you wear darker stuff, then maybe you could pick a brighter color to accent it, or maybe you could pick a color to match it. Stayed up late to watch night 1 of Mania. Woke up at 1:55. Longest you slept in a long time. Yep. Yeah, I was up late for Mania, and then I streamed after that for 2 hours, and then after that I played Call of Duty for probably about the same amount of time, and then slept for like an hour, and then got up for 5 hours waiting on a rocket launch. Yellow. I thought the yellow one was pretty good. Lost all respect for Gio Ruggiero after yesterday, just because he sucked and couldn't keep up with the leaders. Then runs through the 28, yet to boot. It was on the order of Austin, Dillon, Richmond. Yeah, I saw a replay of that whole situation yesterday. So I didn't watch the ARCA race live. The NASCAR fan rewards thing isn't letting me check in. All right. They're going to commercial on the broadcast. All right, getting everything settled for later. Corey Haim's already up 7 spots from the start. He's probably just going to keep climbing. We'll keep an eye on it. Since we're under the side-by-side, let's go ahead and scroll through the field. Zillage continuing his miserable Rookie of the Year campaign. Josh Berry further back. He won on a 1.5 last year at Las Vegas. So it's wild to see him all the way back here. And his teammate, Ryan Blaney, top 10. Right now, Herbst is doing just enough to keep his job. Daniel Suarez running pretty well. Byron's dropped a spot. Chase Elliott's gained 2 spots. It's just Toyota heavy at the front of the field. Toyota, 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 Toyota. We have a few Fords. Brad needs to catch up a bit. SVG 21st, not bad. Not bad. Poor Kyle. Just what a week for him. Running better than Joey Logano, though. That's wild. We are back from commercial now. Heim time. They won't let me check in today. So Hocevar lost the position to Larson here, but he's still running top 5 right now on pace. And he made some comments this weekend at some point, maybe yesterday, where he said the 1.5s were their best tracks. So if he's going to get a win, or if he's going to string together some, really good finishes, now would be the time. That is Riley Herbst in 5th. Now 14th. He's doing just enough to stay ahead of Corey Heim. Kyle Busch Doggy says hi. My dog says hi. That would be a funny turn of events, but I'm not buying it. Corey Heim's gaining on him. He's about a second to a second and a half back. It's only a matter of time. Legitimately, after last year, I would have asked them to change my number. Legitimately. Good to see a Hamlin fan. New Jersey Rail Productions in here as well. A lot of big names. There we go. Finally, it let me check in. Goodness. I had to try several times. Double Aces Heim, tight, center off. Yeah, he's not exactly catching Herbst at this rate. Will today play out like yesterday? Will we see one guy dominate the race and someone else take the win? Because that's what it's feeling like right now. A lot of guys are going to go down a lap here if we don't get a caution. Crew Chief just said Herbst is one of the fastest cars on track. Well, let's look at his time. The interval's not dropping. I mean, and Herbst is running faster. The time dropped back down before I could even talk about it. But a lot of the guys, yeah, I mean, he was running top 10 pace on that one lap. Now he's still fast enough to be in the top 10 just off pure pace. All right, some guys are already coming down pit road. Chris Buescher dipped off the track. Is that also Kyle? Christian said he watched practice in qualifying, and before the 45 even practiced, they went under the hood. Fishy told Stacy to watch the 45. Gonna get pole. Wow. They were putting in the extra horsepower. That's what it was. Herbst has caught the ghost of Dale, and all it took was someone at Bristol, or was turning someone at Bristol. Man, Kyle Busch should have done it first. He needs it. Yeah, right down the middle for sure. Well, some of these guys, they're coming in more on the early side. So I think if you're not confident in your running position and you think you can gain some ground on pit road, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and pit. And maybe you can make an adjustment that your car will like. So not only are you improving your running position, you're also improving how your car is running, hopefully. But, you know, with stops being 9 seconds nowadays compared to 17 seconds like they used to be and higher, I don't know how many adjustments they are able to make on the fly. May have to wait for a stage break to make a big change. IndyCar coming on after this race. That's right. That's right. Saw a couple of accidents between the in the practice session, the first practice session, I believe. Allmendinger just got turned on pit road. Lap 40. So Larson able to jump Reddick there. Not bad. Hocevar ran long. We'll see how that plays out. I'm not too confident on that. Seems like the guys who pit early gained quite a bit. Man, another penalty for Allmendinger. Is that Blaney that got him? Yeah. Some contact there. Pit crew was fast about it. They got out of the way. Time lost time on the pit cycle. That'll happen. You know, he's not running a full-time pit crew. So, I mean, he's bound to have a little issue, especially on green flag stops. That's the gap we're watching. Alex Bowman continues to move up. Not going to get any stage points here unless something wild happens. Like to see him get inside the top 20 here.
Aggressive goes around.
I have no clue if that worked as intended. It did work. That's awesome. Now, I just wish it actually worked. Tuesday and next Thursday. Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna put you out too much money, I wouldn't worry about it. You know, you just being here in chat is means quite a lot to me. Doing pretty well, Jason. Hope you're doing well. I wasn't gonna do merchandise, but there was this guy in our post-race show that was asking for it. He even texted the text-in line just to request some hats and stickers. So I made hats and stickers, and then I haven't heard from him. So thank you, guy. Thank you. See what Mr. Double A said. I missed a lot of chats. Trackhouse seemed pretty slow this year. Yeah. Wayne Martin says Bell for the win. All right. We'll keep an eye on Mr. Christopher Bell. Not worried about Heim because he'll have fresh tires later in the run. We know Heim will drive back around everyone. Believe Heim could win one of his 11 cup races this year. I could see it. I could totally see that. With the way he ran last year in this Gen 7 car, I was really impressed because a lot of times when guys come from the O'Reilly series, they struggle when they get into Cup. But potentially, since he jumped straight from trucks to Cup, that may have benefited him a bit more because engine package wise, I mean, it's different, but the drivers are wide open quite a bit. It's a very momentum style of racing at most tracks. So that would be a similarity, even with how different the two vehicles are. Bit chilly in Indy. But yeah, truck to free agency, yeah. Bowman showing off some good. Bowman is showing some good speed today. Moved up quite a bit. Jordan says he hopes we see a flip. We could. We always could see a freak wall ride or something like we did last year. But there are so many flaps, just so many on these cars. It would take a special kind of wreck to cause a flip. Drop Herbs, put the Heim in the 35. I've been saying that for a year now. With Denny Hamlin's comments, doesn't really seem like 2311 is an option for Kyle Busch. They do not seem to be very friendly. Oh yeah, that first sip of Monster gets in my veins and I just Hulk out. That's good stuff. I don't have Discord open, Chris. I don't I try not to open Discord during the streams because I don't want to leak anyone's names or messages that they may have sent me. And every once in a while something will slip up here on screen. Like I had to take down last week's post-race show because I accidentally for like 2 seconds showed my Google Voice account, which isn't like I didn't leak any of my information, but people's numbers were on there. Their names weren't next to it, but the numbers were. So I mean, if they wanted to harass these random people, they could, but I took that one down. Got a text message from Jason. I see that. Interesting, Jason. Interesting. Man, a lot of brake rubber coming off of Kyle Busch's car there. With the Gio Arca incident, I'm not a person to curse people, but I believe in karma. He spun the 15 and 25 in front of the field at Daytona. Then yesterday, and also yesterday, hopefully karma comes around at Dega. I can see it. What am I seeing in this Discord? What is explain yourselves? What is this? What are you guys doing in the chat? I'm just ran a top 3 time. He's moving up. Hocevar fell back on that staying out, running long. Doesn't seem like he's benefited from it. It's a weird balance. A lot of times running long will get you past, but on occasion at certain tracks, and if there's certain amounts of fall off, you can make it work and you can run back by people, but that just doesn't happen often. Not in this car, at least. I was shocked when it worked for, I think it was Reddick earlier this year. My dog is being mischievous. Yeah, Hamlin and Larson, pretty good picks. Well, thank you guys for your support. You guys were having a good old conversation in the Discord earlier. Oh no, Corey Heim's gonna win today. My energy score for today just came in. It's 67. But what they don't know, what Samsung doesn't know, is I'm drinking a Monster. So it's more like 97. Man, I am burning up while I'm sleeping. Wood Bentley says, let's go 48. His skin's really been bothering him lately. I give him these allergy chews, but they really don't seem to help very much. I just hope after the seasons change, maybe he'll calm down. I'm about to just shave his hair off. Heim is the fastest car now. It's wild. Said Chase almost got wrecked by Wallace there. Interesting. Bowman, top 20 right now. Running 13-1. Or not 13-1, 32-1. That is not as fast as Corey Heim. I'll say that. It's fast enough for a top 10. So Bowman is running top 10 times right now. If or that was one top 10 lap. Yeah, 32-1 flat. That's faster than Denny, which Denny is, dealing with traffic right now. That's almost faster than Larson. There's only maybe 4 cars on track faster than Bowman. That time slowed down a bit there. But that really doesn't drop him that far down the running order. He's making some good laps back there. So yeah, I'm rooting for the 48. I hope he does well. Bob from the Bob and Tom show lost his battle with cancer on Friday. ARCA equals automobile racing for careless, aggressive driving. Not confident Hamlin's going to win this one, but he could be taking it easy. I'm just not confident he'll win because whenever you dominate a race early, you hardly ever win the race. It just usually doesn't work out. Man, good thing Bowman has been moving through the pack, because Priest ran a good lap that last time by. So did Suarez. Bowman got by Priest there. That's going to slow both of their lap times down a little bit. And Bowman probably not going to have the time to catch up to Cindric. But if Cindric's actually running that slow, see, their times kind of equalized that last lap by. He's about a half second back with only 2 to go. It's not looking like he's going to make the pass. So Bowman's probably going to finish the stage in 17th. Denny's probably going to win the stage unless he just like explodes or gets hit by an asteroid or something. Good run for Gibbs so far. Final lap of stage 1. Hocevar really didn't make up the ground from running long. I hate the strategy of running long. I hate it. It rarely works out. Rarely. Which if you're up front and you run long, that's a bit different. Sometimes that will work. But if you're further back, if you're like 15th, if you're running 20th, you are gambling. You are essentially gambling that it's going to work out for you, and it usually doesn't. Because you're already 15 seconds back from the leader, and then you're running on old tires, so you're running half a second to maybe even 2 seconds slower than the leader per lap. It's just not a good strategy. Ryan Curtis says, let's go Larson. Well, he's going to take second in that stage. Danielle Hamlin. Yeah, this next stage will be make or break for Hamlin. I think he needs to intentionally lose this stage. If he wants to win, he needs to lose stage 2. He can finish second, but he can't finish first. That's not how it works here. Huge Hendrick motorsports fan since back in the late 90s. You've had a good run, Ryan. You've seen a lot of wins. A lot of wins. I think almost 20 for... As Junior didn't get that far. He may have had near 15 wins with Hendrick, somewhere around that. And then Vickers got a win. Kyle Busch got a win. Maybe 2. He didn't really pop off until he got to Gibbs. And then, you know, Terry Labonte, championship, got a few wins. Jeff Gordon, ton of wins. Jimmy Johnson, ton of wins. Mark Martin got a handful of wins. Yeah, it's been a good run for Hendrick fans. And then, you know, with this newest generation, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson. Yeah, every time I think of Jimmy Johnson, the 48, it makes me sad. I don't have any Jimmy Johnson diecast, which is shocking, because I have so many Hendrick diecasts. I mean, 90% of them are Jeff Gordon, but I have the current Hendrick lineup. I have a ton of William Byron. I have a few Chase Elliott. And I think I have like one Kyle Larson because his scheme doesn't change and I don't care to buy it every year for no reason. Excuse me. Ty Gibbs on the radio saying, Grandpa, I'm trying to get some stage points. Tell Danny to slow down. Yep. He's running really well. Running really well. It took Gibbs a long time to come around to this Gen 7 car. And honestly, I'm glad it's working out for him. He did a lot of damage to his reputation while he was in O'Reilly. And I think, you know, he's gained the support of the garage area. From what I saw at Bristol, a lot of guys stopped by to congratulate him after the race. Jason said he's been a Hendrick fan since 92. Not bad. Yeah, I love those the silver and blue schemes, the early Jimmy Johnson years. I liked those a lot. So I'll probably try to find a few Jimmy schemes. I always think about it, but I never make it happen. But I'll do it eventually. I know I can find some early Jimmy Johnson stuff for probably pretty cheap. All right. We are on pit road. Let's see how this works out. We could experiment again with the track map if you guys are interested. Order your hat, even though it'll take you'll take it to Christian and maybe he'll steal it. I'm joking, guys. I gotta mute my mic. Feeling good. Feeling really good. Everything's fine. If I know Michael King Mako, I don't think Michael would stand for that. Keep an eye out. Those across the street vendors are the way to go. That's 100% true. 100%. So at Talladega, that's usually where I get my diecast and stuff, which I don't think I'm going this year. If I do, it would be Saturday. I'm not going to go on Sunday. But yeah, I'm probably not going to go, which is sad. Not that sad. I'm not crying because I'm not going to Talladega. My eyes are watering. Come up to Fall Bristol. Oh man. I don't do the whole TikTok thing. I do usually get up to Bristol either for the spring race or the fall race, and sometimes both. But this year I didn't go to the spring race. But maybe one of the fall races. But yeah, what I was gonna say is at Talladega, the street vendors, you know, the gypsy tents, as they are affectionately referred to as, they set up way outside the track, like 2 miles from the track at the nearest like bit of civilization. And you might see maybe one or two at the campgrounds, but and used to you'd see a few more, but most of them are out by the gas stations, which is like 2 miles away. But at Bristol, like you mentioned, Ryan, you know this, if you're a regular at Bristol, the tents are literally right across the street from the track. So, I mean, tons of NASCAR merchandise. Even you can find F1 stuff there sometimes, IndyCar stuff, dirt racing stuff, Cars Tour stuff. They have everything, and for decent prices usually. I'm a big fan of the tents. That's right. That's right. I just can't catch my breath today. Whew. That's rough. I wasn't even able to pay attention to pit stops. I was dying there. Sean needs to stay away from the lighters, let me tell you. 6 championship cars for 35. And Nab Harvick's last scheme, he raced there, and a shirt. With a shirt for $15. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, my dad usually grabs a couple things from the tents because he has a big head. Full disclosure, big head. And so the hats they have at the actual haulers on site sometimes don't fit him. So he'll go and look through there and find the driver he likes. And the tents carry a lot of merchandise from drivers that no longer race. And so it's a really good selection they have. But he's able to usually find a hat. All right, for now, Hamlin's going to resume the lead, but Larson has a really good run here. He's going to try to cross Hamlin over. He's going to have to roll this middle really well. All right, slide job complete. Larson to the lead. And Chase Elliott going to cross him over. I wouldn't say really a crossover, just dive to the inside. So move Chase Elliott into second for now. Reddick almost got Hamlin there too. So drop Hamlin down a couple positions. Did I read Christian's comment about the needing a nurse? I don't think so. I don't think I need a nurse. Yeah. That's what Ryan and I were talking about. The those merchandise booths, the unofficial ones outside the track there. I mean, they're right across the street when you're at Bristol. So I mean, it's pretty great. You can buy something on your way into the track, or you can buy something on your way out of the track. But I usually take a backpack with me, so I'm able to just put a die cast or a hat back there. But if I didn't, I hate carrying stuff, so I probably wouldn't buy much. But anyway, when I go to Bristol, I usually park like a mile away from the track, like really far away, through a bunch of fields at this church. Pay them like $10 or something to park there. And there used to be a pathway through the fields, but they blocked them off. And they also used to mow those areas because they were campgrounds. They don't use them anymore because I don't know why. I mean, it's just because they don't need to. Don't have enough people to use them. But so the fields had grown up. So my dad and I, only knowing one way to get to the track, we walked through the fields. There were a few other people trying to fight through the fields, getting needles and thorns poked into us, trying to get through some thicket. I had to jump over a fence. But we eventually made it. Nothing's moving around in my chest when I'm coughing. I'm not producing anything. So I don't know. Should probably take some medication. Why is Hamlin JGR and not 2311? Because he gets paid to drive for JGR. That's where he got his money to buy into 2311. Also, Hamlin's not like a 50% owner in 2311. Michael Jordan and an investment team are the majority holders of 2311. His name is just kind of attached. But like, yeah, he needs the JGR money to pay for the 2311 side of things. Also, I don't think they're allowed to run four full-time teams unless they got that in the settlement. I don't think they did. I've heard there are some really muddy places at Bristol. Yeah, when we were there, I guess it was a couple years ago now, the 24 fall race, you could still make out the path. You could still kind of see it. What was the lawsuit about? Charters and the charter agreement. What happens when Hamlin retires from JGR and doesn't have consistent money to fund 2311? Well, he's not really funding it. So, I mean, his name's just kind of attached. I think Denny will probably step more into an operations role, if I had to guess. Yeah, Michael Jordan is the money bag behind 2311. So I don't think they have to worry about funding. What they have to worry about is if Michael Jordan's going to stay interested enough to stay in the sport. And if Reddit keeps winning, maybe he will. All right, going under side by side again. Commercial break. "21 laps into this stage. Probably, what, 15, 16 laps on the tires?" Yeah, I mean, Denny has put his own money. Yeah, for sure. That's not up for debate. It's just not nearly what Michael Jordan has. It's not a 50-50 venture. Denny does not have that kind of money. If it was still the peak of NASCAR, if it was still the early 2000s, then maybe I could see that happening. But with as popular as he is, I don't think Denny moves a ton of merchandise. You know, he's lost his big name sponsors. I don't think there's a huge enough revenue stream to fund his own team, you know? Bought a Food City 500 t-shirt and got Trisha a pink Bristol Motor Speedway hat. It was $45 or $55 for both of them. He paid $40 parking in tow yard right across from the track. 40 is steep. Probably more convenient than what my dad and I did. It's a lot easier walking on the way back because you have a crowd to walk around. And on the way back this last time, we said, we're not walking through the field. Like, we'll take the long way and walk through the neighborhood and the roads. But I like parking further away from the track because I don't have to deal with traffic leaving. You just hop right on the road and dip. That's all right, Chris. Really quiet race so far. Other than Allmendinger almost squishing his pit crew. Let's look through our running order real quick. Look at that. Woo, Alex Bowman. So Bubba's kind of driving all over the place today. From what I heard, almost took out Chase Elliott, and they probably weren't that close. They're probably half a car length apart. But man, Bubba really ran down the track right in front of Bowman and a little differently, and that is a big wreck. Yeah, you need to go to Bristol, but either go to an Xfinity race or wait till they fix this Cup car. I went to the 24 fall race. That was the one that had like no cautions for incident outside of like maybe a spin by Josh Bilicki or somebody. I mean, it was a rough race. I still enjoyed it, but I got home and looked online and everyone hated it. That is interesting, Christian. That would be wild. But I bet she has a little bit of funding behind her. Wish you would have known about the free parking for Toyota owners. So the problem with that for me is like, I'm not going to drive my Toyota to the track anymore. My Camaro is my long distance car. But also, my Toyota key isn't manufacturer. I do still have the manufacturer key, but the hook on it where it like goes on the keychain or the key ring is broken, so I don't use it. So there's no way to tell from the generic key what make it is. Best race you've been to is Charlotte, Coke 600 2013. That would have been a fun race to be at. Charlotte's been putting on some really good races recently. Well, about the Roval. I had tickets to go 2 years, 2 different years to the Roval, and just couldn't make it. Just tape the Toyota badge in the Camaro. They won't be able to tell. Oh yeah, I have abused my Toyota. Absolutely abused it. And it's held up for the most part. Yeah, nowadays we don't have to use the cable cam because of all the drone shots we have. Even though the cable cam would look way better. I don't like drone shots whenever they use them because they're so low quality. Yeah, a lot of the Hardys around here do not stay open past like 2 p.m. So it's really hard to get lunch at a Hardee's. You only have like 3 hours to work with, 11 to 2. But I found one that's like 40 minutes away that stays open till 8:30. But no one's ever there. Just no people around here other than breakfast do not like Hardee's. It's wild to me they have enough money to sponsor a cup team. Man, Bowman's been working on Wallace for the last 15 laps and just not able to get by. And Wallace is about a second behind Gibbs. Man, he just got to make this pass. I mean, look at the gap. It's so close. Brad's moved up a bit. Elliott's moved up a lot. And Byron, you know, he's just kind of hovering around where he started. Is William Byron washed? .47 to go. That's still enough time for Bowman to pick off a few more spots potentially, especially if they short pit this. I don't know. I don't really like that 24 scheme. It just feels to me like you asked AI to make a new Jeff Gordon scheme, and it just spit out like something generic, but that was vaguely Jeff Gordon looking. I don't know. I just like the Exalta scheme so much, but now Raptor's on the car. Exalta's not anymore. All right, already had one taker on pit road, two now. Bell and Ty Gibbs. So this is going to prevent Bowman from short pitting and getting by Gibbs. So that is out the window. Ryan, that is a great point. I have no clue how to reply to comments on mobile. It's never let me do it on mobile. Hey, I'm right with you, Ryan. I don't know how it's possible on mobile. On PC I can do it. Like if I'm on desktop, I can reply. You just use at, not actually doing it. See, like I can tag people on desktop. Like I'll do King Mako, for example. So I only have to type K, and then it pulls up all the people with K in their name in the chat, and I can select who. And so like I can specifically tag people. On phone I can't do it, which is really frustrating. Larson's not going to win this race because he's your preseason prediction to win, and every time I predict him to win, he never wins. If he wins today, the curse is lifted, or it'll have an asterisk. Yeah, it's tough with Larson because if he's running up front, there's always like a 50% chance he just ends his own day. Getting into the wall, just losing it. There's always a chance. Oh, you have money on him? Yeah, I think that's just a phone thing. I don't think the phones work. I think what King Mako is getting at is they're just typing the name manually. Like, so they're not actually tagging the person. You can do it on desktop, but I don't think that's a phone feature. Yes, what he said. What he said. Could today be another Chase Elliott day? Chase has just been working at it throughout the race. Man, other than William Byron, Hendrick Motorsports running pretty well. Where's Wallace? Wallace is running long, maybe? This running order hurts my brain. What? Hopefully a lap or two from now, this will make more sense. All right, so Bowman was able to get by Wallace. That's what I was looking for. All right, Bowman's going to get by Blaney as well here while Blaney's on pit road. So when this updates, Bowman should be in the top 10. Denhausen cursed Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch. I was extremely disappointed with the reveal of Danhausen. I think it was at the Rumble. I was extremely disappointed. Not because I was expecting it to be something else, but I thought it was going to be something bigger than just a comedy act. But now that I've been seeing him pop up, you know, every week, seeing the clips on social media, he's pretty funny. You know, in wrestling, there's always been comedy acts. It was bigger back in the day for sure, but I think it's a core part of wrestling. You know, you have your serious moments, then you have your not so serious moments, but you have to balance it. But I'm coming around on him. If Bowman wins this race, you're going to see a lot of Bowman fans start asking for the playoffs to come back. Yeah, I think part of what turned me off about that whole deal was like the unveiling being like a dance number, basically. Like it was just a little out of nowhere, especially with how they were theming it and stuff. It was just really weird. But you know, just seeing him interact with the other stars, seeing some like clips that he's made just for social media. Pretty funny guy. And from what I've heard, The Miz is one of his mentors. I like The Miz a lot. So if The Miz approves of him, I think I gotta go with that. Yep. That's exactly right, Ryan. That's exactly right. So it looks like Hamlin, you know, he's stalking Chase Elliott, running him down here. So Hamlin probably going to get by Chase here. He's going to dive it down to the inside right now and probably going to clear up there. So move Hamlin back into second. All right, back from side-by-side coverage. Corey Heim back in 17th. Bowman dropped back. What happened there? 8th to 11th in just a couple laps. What happened? It doesn't even seem possible. What happened? It was inside the top 10, and then you're just telling me he fell off? I mean, 31.7. I mean, he's running way slower than the guys around him. So whatever adjustment they made on the 48 was the wrong one. That is... something's really off with his lap times right now. I know Bubba pit a few laps after Bowman, but would that equal a half a second to fall off? I mean, golly. He's going to lose that on stage points because of this. Unless he can run him down later. Not too optimistic about Bowman right now. He was moving in the right direction all race, and this is their first mistake here. It's good for Bowman to actually get some seat time. When he came back at Bristol, had the early crash and ended his day early. He cursed Stephen A. Smith on first take. That's hilarious. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call this a snooze fest. Not necessarily. Whenever we have a longer race like this where we don't see a ton of cautions, it's just traditional NASCAR. Like, this race already is a mile above anything we saw in the early 2000s from Kansas. Because Kansas was a very single groove track. And it consistently put on some of the most boring races. Talking about nothing happening. Literally nothing would happen during those early Kansas races. So I'll take this over that any day. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, especially if you look at the gap. I mean, that is straight out of the Gen 4 era, where you would see the leader get a huge advantage. The difference between this and that, though, is if there was a faster guy behind him, you would see them make up 7 seconds over the course of a run. Not sure you're going to see that during this run. Seems like the cars equalized a lot faster. And especially once you get into traffic and dirty air, it just dramatically slows your lap times. Byron back here in 15th, not great. Suarez continues to fall through the running order. He's got to pick it up a bit. Kyle Busch, he's just running about where he runs. He has about a 24th place car every week, and that's usually where he finishes. We're about, I would say, 50 laps off of our scheduled Kyle Busch self-spin. Kyle, Chase, the guy coming back after missing several weeks, just outside the top 10, and then Byron down here. What are they doing? It's like all of HMS just can't get it together. Unlike the RFK guys, they usually run really close to each other. But it's usually Priest and Busher, and then Brad a little behind. Right now, Brad's leading the way. Good to see Brad run well. 31.5. 31.4. Denny's running a little faster per lap. We'll see if that changes here. 31.6. That time by. 31.5. So Reddick's running pretty fast. Might get by Chase here. I wouldn't doubt it. 31.7, 31.7. Man, that could be Bowman. I don't know what happened to that car, but they adjusted the speed out of it. I mean, what? Line up his pit crew and his crew chief and just get a firing squad. Put them out of their misery. What did they do to that car? Good night. I don't know how you adjust that much speed out of it. He had been running through the pack. He was in the top 10 on pace, and they just kill him. Man. I see your joke of the day, Jason. I'm going to check Discord and see if I can listen into Alex Bowman's in-car, because I am extremely confused as to what is happening right now. They don't have Bowman on here today. They used to have all the drivers. All right, well, that's not working. Put the race on. That's a great idea, Brody. Let me do that, and then in 10 minutes, I'll get this channel that I've had since 2011 banned permanently. That's a great idea, Brody. Or you could ask how you can actually watch the race, and we can help you. On YouTube, you can't rebroadcast someone else's event. I would love to show the race on here. We're just not allowed to. Hamlin has continued to cut the gap here. Not bad. So at this rate, Denny's doing what he needs to do to win the race. I said he needs to let someone else win stage 2. And if things continue how they are, Kyle will probably win stage 2. But man, Denny has cut the gap quite a bit here. I mean, if he runs 3 to 2/10 faster, he has time enough to get there. Well, maybe not. 11 to go. That's really close. People come in here and say, put on the race. You think I didn't think of that already? I went through all the trouble of making this leaderboard, setting up this stream, and I didn't think to just put on the race. Wow. What a novel idea. I've never considered that. Now, if NASCAR would want to work with me, if they would do that, I would totally call the races either here or on Twitch. I know Twitch has done this in the past where streamers are able to broadcast the NFL games, and then occasionally they'll do something like that over here on YouTube, but you have to be chosen by the, whatever group. You can't just do it. That would be so cool. That'd be really great. Just give me the cameras, the raw feed, and we could commentate for ourselves. But that probably won't happen. These teams, they play so much, or no, not teams, these companies, Fox, formerly NBC, I guess USA now, TNT, Prime, they pay millions of dollars to broadcast these races, so they're not going to let me do it for free. Thank you, Ryan. Can you guys hear that little sound, or is it just me? I guess not. Maybe I'm alone on that. That's good. There's this little tone that plays now in my headphones whenever someone comments. Doesn't do it every time though, which is weird. All right, that's good. That's good. I don't want that chime playing randomly. Yeah, Fox could maybe use a little help, but even though Mike Joy is older, you know, during the Fox portion of the coverage, he's our play-by-play guy. I'm gonna enjoy his last few years. You know, this could be his last year. He hasn't said it will be, so I guess he plans on being around for at least another 2-3 years. But time is running out. In what world does a racer run air tire pressures the same in a race car as what's set in street cars? I mean, that would vary kind of based off of what type of tire you have. Because the pressures I run in my Toyota, which have much bigger tires on them, like the sidewalls are much bigger, smaller wheel, the pressures are lower than what I run in the Camaro, which has really short sidewalls. He's not lying. He had a consistent leak in one of his tires. So it depends per track. Like per track, and then like what street car you're talking about. Now, to add complexity to that, you're not going to run different tire pressures on your front and rears, more than likely, unless you have like some stagger setup or something on your street car. You're probably just going to run like 36 psi, maybe 30 psi in all four. Typically, you're not going to have equalized tire pressures in a race car, especially if you're oval racing. So if you want to break it down like per tire, or like even just left and right sides, probably never. All right, Kyle Larson taking stage 2. Then he did exactly what I said. I said, you need to let Kyle Larson, or not Kyle, you just let anybody win stage 2. So now Denny's in the running for the win. If he won stage 2, he would have been eliminated immediately. Denny was running him down, though, towards the end. Okay. Red flag. Something wildly different happened on the leaderboard than what happened on my screen. How far did Bowman? Are you kidding me? Bowman was up to 8th, and they just killed his run. What is going on with Bowman? Maybe I can figure it out on the old Twitter machine. So this one guy, Ball 23146, says, was fun watching Bowman run good. Then Blake Harris put a parachute on the car. Very true. Yeah, this debate is officially over. Bowman is not the driver problem once again. Blake loses his mind as usual. So a lot of hate going around for Alex Bowman right now. Not Alex Bowman, for his crew chief, Blake Harris. Man, half these tweets were about baseball players and baseball cards. Why is Bowman dropping like a rock after a pit cycle, losing time like crazy? That's right. Bad adjustment made the car not have any grip. That makes me so mad. Had so much speed. Bowman just needed the correct adjustment, probably to break him into the top 5. He was already up to 8th, on pure pace, basically. And they get back out there, and the car just loses all grip after their adjustment. I love watching crew chiefs just take the speed right out of the car. Just genius. 48 teams trying to fight the 12 crew for worst pit crew. They started the race off really poorly, like in terms of speed. Qualifying was really bad. Really bad. And then they run up through the running order. They get inside the top 20 in stage 1. Stage 2, they work themselves up to 8th place and adjust the speed out of it. I mean, he was in the top 10 on pace alone. They make the wrong adjustment and he falls back to like 17th. That's hilarious, Christian. I just saw your message about the tire pressures. I don't know. I don't know if the solution lies in a Cup crew chief or if they should bring up an Xfinity crew chief. But man, do they suck? If they don't immediately go back on that adjustment, maybe go a little further, now I don't know what this team is doing. That is just crazy to me. Taking the speed out of the car. Like, oh yeah, we don't need that. This speed. That's stupid. All right, let me see if I can change the color of this background here. It'd be wild if I could. Developer tools. Man, wish I could find the track map here. Okay, we're making progress. Really? Blake Harris married to the pit reporter? Are you serious? I didn't know that. I'm gonna find this thing. I'm trying to find the background of the track map. See if I can change the color. Man, I found the right part, but it's just not working. It was a good test. I was wanting to see if I could get the track map alone and then just chroma key out the back. No, I did not see any commercial. Was it the one about like the local politician, where he says, and I'm quoting, I'm not saying this, and I'm quoting, Allahu Akbar, back to the Middle East. I think that's what he says. Yeah, kind of a wild thing to hear on TV. First time I heard that, I think my neck snapped. Like, looking at what did I just hear that? But I just roll my eyes whenever I see Jelly Roll pop up on screen. Can't get away from him. He's everywhere. No, Deaver and I were talking about this maybe like a month ago when it first started airing. Yeah, to hear it from a politician. Which, I mean, interesting time to start running that ad, you know? With this war going on and such. Really quiet race. These restarts can get wild, so we'll see if something happens here. Why are U.S. Marines trending? U.S. Marines have taken custody of an Iranian vessel that attempted to breach the U.S. blockade. Found out that Atlanta Castle drove for Hendrick. He called his move Jelly Drop. I like when people name moves after like their theme. You know, Undertaker didn't call his choke slam the Undertaker Slam, or he didn't call the Tombstone Pile Driver the Undertaker Driver. Tombstone Pile Driver. Can't avoid it, Chris. Can't avoid it. Yeah, Landon could do well. I mean, he's a veteran guy at this point. But, I mean, I don't know how much you're gonna get out of this, out of that 74 car. Don't worry, Chris. Whenever we bring up current events, we never dwell on it long. I just saw something was trending, so I mentioned it. That would be awesome to help sponsor Mike Harmon. I saw a good interview with him recently. I think that was on the Dale Jr. download. Or no, that was, I think that was BJ McLeod. Got the two confused for a second. Now, I would love to see Mike Harmon on the Dale Jr. download. Has he ever been on before? Please. So they've talked about they talked about it, but I don't think he's been on the show. They talked about his crash at Bristol. Man, a lot of Toyotas towards the front. And when they highlight it like that, it really stands out. And what is Legacy doing? The 42 and the 43 every week. Just driving tractors around here. What are we doing? I did not hear about that. I know a few people that will be happy about that. Yeah, Kyle Busch needs a tractor sponsor because with how that car drives, he is an absolute tractor out there every week. So a little look at the leaderboard. Bowman right now outrunning Byron, trying to work back those positions that he lost on the last run. That was horrible. But this is, you know, this is the end of the race. Run to the end. Bowman lost out on stage points in stage 1 because they qualified so poorly. Stage 2 because they adjusted the speed out of the car. And now here, I mean, 15th, he's not even in contention. And with how quiet this race has been, we may or may not get a caution. See what their lap times are. 31.6 31.6 flat. Bowman might drop a little here. That gap's really tight. Bowman could lose a couple spots right here. All right, that widened back out a bit. And Bowman's within a second of Preece, which is right against a couple other guys. So maybe Bowman works forward, maybe he falls back. You know, it's Schrodinger's Bowman. Golly, that gap is so tight. Just a 10th between them now. Bowman had a really bad lap that last time by. Still better than Chase in front of him. So Preece was able to get by Chase. So we have 3 HMS guys. What are they doing? What are they doing? Kyle Larson's just up here having a day. Just having a day. All these Toyotas up here. No Chevy help, really. I mean, out of all people, Carson Hocevar has been one of the fastest non-Hendrick Chevys all year. Every once in a while, you'll see him up there in the top 10 with Larson, and then no other Hendrick guys. Just everyone else running garbage races. All right. Pit stops are underway, I believe. The running order just got really shaken up there. Maybe not. Something weird just happened with the running order. I mean, Chase jumped up 2 spots in one corner. That was really weird. Usually don't see that much movement per lap. And Chase was able to jump by Priest and Herbst. I mean, he got a twofer there. And he's close to Briscoe now. He's gotten by Briscoe. Chase Elliott's moving right now. Running a, let's see what his lap time is. So that time in traffic, 31.7. He was a 31.5 before, which would put him on par with Bell's last lap. Slower than Reddick, and he would be a bit slower than Wallace, and about on par with his teammate. So Chase Elliott, in relatively clean track, was running top 5 times faster than all these guys. Even in traffic making passes, he was faster than a lot of these guys. So not as good of a lap there. But he might break into the top 10 here on pace alone. Bowman not able to follow him through. A little under a second back from Herbst. But Corey Heim's about to pass Bowman. Just looking at this interval. Probably going to make that pass. Maybe not the legacy cars, but the other ones. Hey, I love the conspiracy theories. I don't care if they're true or not. They're fun to listen to. Someone should ask Christian how he keeps drinks cold in his room. Yeah, it's not quite cold enough here to do that. That would warm up a drink. That's nice, Christian. And Jason said, we used to do backyard wrestling a long time ago. He used to be called Jason Justice, and his choke slam was called Justice Being Served. See, that's like a themed move. Like, it does mention the name Justice, but it's more so themed. It just really bothers me whenever they take an established move like the frog splash, and then an Uso does it, and suddenly it's an Uso splash. Like, shut up. Shut up. Stop that. That takes no talent, no creativity to name a move like that. Thank you, Doodlebug. So Heim did get by Bowman. I thought he would. So they really didn't fix the pace of that car. And golly, that was a really bad last lap. Hopefully he can recover a bit. Bowman needs a big adjustment here, but the last adjustment the 48 team made was not a good one. So I don't know. Maybe they just leave the car alone and let Bowman handle this. Seems like the more Blake Harris touches the car, the worse it gets. Chase, they're about a second back. Not closing in too much there. Brad's still running pretty well. Gibbs has kind of been slipping down the running order. Man, I mean that's pretty good. Busher here, Brad here, Priest here. Like that's a pretty equal split. I just love how equal those RFK cars are. You can kind of see each week they're pretty solid in terms of how they perform. Brad may qualify worse, but he usually works his way up towards his other cars. Today he's running pretty well. And it's Priest off the pace, but Priest and Busher are almost always nose to tail. It is wild how they make that work. Briscoe, kind of a... Okay, so Briscoe's pit already, I believe. I was about to say, kind of a disappointment for him to be down here, but I think he pit. Or maybe he just fell off in terms of speed. I thought he was further forward. Either way, that's pretty disappointing to be back here. That's what I was trying to say. Disappointing. You have his teammate here, other teammate. You have two manufacturer teammates, and you're running with the black sheep of the group and the part-timer. Like, not a good look. Eddie was the best one to do the frog splash. Yeah, Dominic Mysterio, he tries to do it, but Dominic, it just looks so lanky out there. He's a little awkward in the ring. He's better than he used to be, but still just... He's got to get on some peptides or something and either put on muscle or just build some form. I don't know. Some kind of frame. Maybe he would look a little less awkward in the ring. .32, almost a 32-1. Man, look at Byron almost running in the 20s. I mean, that's the lower side of the top 20. Being outrun by the guy who this is his first actual full race back. Full as of right now. That is crazy. There's something about this new Camaro that the teams have not figured out yet. And it's just so weird not seeing at least 3 of the Hendrick cars, inside the top 10. If not the top 12. And then, usually the lowest you would see somebody is maybe Bowman. Maybe Elliott, back here 14th. Chevy just has a bad track record of going to new bodies. That's for sure. Yes, teriyaki's good stuff, Jason. I like the beef teriyaki. That's my favorite jerky. There's this jerky I get from Chinatown in Manhattan. And they make it on the grill. You can get it right off the grill. You can get it hot, but I just get it packaged. And then they're like strips of beef, and it's seasoned with a bunch of spicy spices. No idea what it is, but it tastes good. Honestly, at this point, that might be an improvement over what they're running currently. And I don't think Chevy themselves are going to put much money into this current generation of car or this body, because they have a new one on the way that could debut next year, or it might be the year after. But it's coming soon. So why would they invest more money in wind tunnel time and, you know, R&D? So I think this is going to be a lame duck year. Maybe later in the year they finally put things together and make a good run at it, but this just doesn't seem like it's going to be a competitive year for the majority of Chevys. Larson's running. Well, he was. Only don't speak. Let me not speak like too soon. But times have updated, and Larson's running faster than Bubba. He's running faster than Denny. Let's see, how far back is he? 7 seconds. 57 to go. I mean, he could catch up, but he would have to continue to run faster laps while making passes. You know, that's a lot to ask for. 32 flat again on that last split there. Still faster than the guys ahead. I just need to see that interval drop before I start buying in and believing. At about 7.2 right now. So let's see if that drops below 7 seconds here shortly. Seems like Larson might have a long run car. It did drop under 7 momentarily. Interesting. So Bubba should be cutting time to the leader as well, or would have been. Yeah, 32 flat. That was faster than Larson on that last split. So both of these guys are gaining on the leader. Reddick should be gaining, may even make the pass here shortly. And Denny off the pace. Denny is running lap times on par with Corey Heim almost. 32.5 now. That would put him back in like 10th. So Denny's car has fallen off a cliff. That's not what they're hoping for. And this last run, barring a caution, which we could always get one, but we haven't seen like tire failures or anything really today. And the more they, the longer they run, the more spread apart they're going to get. It's looking like this last run's going to be a long one too. Denny's picked it back up just in the last, well, it looks like he picked it up compared to the leader, but Bell's just fallen off a cliff too, a 32.8 there. Reddick is coming. And watch out. If Bubba gets up there, he's running faster lap times right now, and Larson is kind of falling off a little bit here. We'll see if he can pick it back up. Brad's also running really fast laps still. Some cool stuff happening. I'm liking this. Denny Hamlin's on pit road. Briscoe's on pit road. On and off with an 8.9. It's a really good stop. A 10.2 for Denny, not as good. But they definitely got enough fuel in it. For once. I don't know if that pit time for Briscoe is accurate, because 8.9, I don't know if he has enough fuel to make it. And if he does, it's just enough. Got to be a little worried. Austin Dillon with a 9.4. Bowman's on pit road now. This is make or break for him and his whole day. 9.4 for Cindric as well. So he seems about average right now. Himes 14th today. Short pit. He could finish top 10. 50 to go. That's a longer run. I'm not sure how early you want to come in, because it seems like when these tires go bad, your lap times drop a second. Just like that. Might see the great Toyota fumble again. I don't know. That gap at the front's finally equalized, but Bubba's running really, really strong lap times. They're running long, so this could benefit them at the end of the race. So just watch for that. Larson's on pit road. Keselowski's on pit road. Kez was running really fast lap times. Larson was, but he started to fall off at the end. This is a really long run here running to the finish. So I don't know if Larson's car is going to, unless they make an adjustment, I don't know if he's going to be running good lap times in 48 laps. Reddick is still slowly gaining on Bell. Bell probably needs to come down here. Because he's about to lose this track position. You might as well pit. Looks like Reddick might be coming down. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Bell's trying his hardest to choke this, it looks like. So what Bell is hoping for is for this thing to go green and for his newer tires to make the difference. But Reddick's going to get out on fresher tires here. He was already outrunning Bell in terms of lap time. So once Bell pits, Reddick is going to jump him, more than likely. I think Wallace might be a bit too far back to jump our leader. All right, Bell's coming down this time by 8.8 for Bowman. Pretty good. If Reddick wins again, man, I swear. That's what Roland Roblox said. I agree. Let me see someone like Hocevar try to catch a caution. Hocevar is pretty fast on pace. Maybe if I'm a further back guy, like Heim, he's a part-timer, not running for points. What does he have to lose, you know? Look at that. If I'm Kyle Busch, I'm going into the RCR shop Monday and just burning the whole place down to the ground, to the foundations. I'm committing arson. That's not legal advice, Kyle. But golly, especially after the, the comments made from Denny Hamlin this week. Woo! Suarez way up the track there. Suarez maybe has a tire down. He's running really off the pace. Suarez tried to run long. It did not work out. So Denny with his short pitting, he assumed the lead, but is it too early, or was it too early to pit? I mean, he's a second and a half off the pace already. But he has 4 seconds over Reddick. Man, quite a bit of fallout for this tire. Goodyear nailed it today. Good job. Reddick not able to get by Todd Gilliland on the backstretch. They're going to lose a little time potentially from what he could have gained. And Reddick not able to make the pass on corner exit either. So still battling Todd Gilliland pretty closely. A lot of traffic in between Denny and Reddick. Yep. So right now, Bowman scored 14th. We'll see if Bowman and Chase can sneak inside the top 10 here at the very end of the race. And Byron is still back there. That's rough. Oh yeah, he has hats and he has shirts. He's all over that stuff. Where's the phantom debris cautions when you need one? That's the thing about these cars, is unless a tire comes apart or a brake rotor, they don't drop much debris because the body panels just crack. They don't actually fall off like they used to. Kyle Busch now. I don't know if this is accurate. He might just be 3 back. Yeah, he is. Sometimes the guys further back, the transponder gets a little messed up. Ran 31.7. Bowman's already off the pace. All right, he picked it up a little that lap. But Heim, he was ahead of Bowman before that last cycle, I believe. Herbst is also running faster and pretty close, so Bowman might end up dropping back to Byron over the course of this run. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. It's not looking good right now. I think a lot of these guys are hoping for a caution here in about 15 laps. Make one last adjustment, stack the field back up. But with the way this is run, I mean, unless something unexpected happens in this NASCAR, anything could happen any lap. We might see Zane Smith on his door wall riding, but, or, you know, like a Carson Quaffle flip. You never know here. It's been a very quiet race, and we're not even going to have a single caution replay. I think the only replay we will have is the Allmendinger spin. Thank you, Jason. I don't know if we have any big enough. Maybe. I need that big and tall, you know, type shirt. Oh my goodness, what was that? Bubba Wallace almost just plowed into the back of somebody coming down pit road. Oh my goodness. Bubba has had a few near misses today. What was that? That was insane. I hope you guys saw that on the side-by-side. That was nuts. It's a blessing and a curse. Yeah, Bell wall riding there. Oh, that was Chastain coming down pit road. He almost. I mean, that would have been a huge wreck there. I mean, that's another foot. And Ross Chastain's rear end is laying somewhere in the infield. Yeah, they've run pretty clean today, that's for sure. Reddick slowly closing in. Larson running similar lap times to the leader. Larson's got to stay close. I just don't think he's close enough. Even at the end of this run, if Reddick falls off like he did last time, and Larson stays, you know, or maintains better, that's a huge gap to cut in 30 laps. I don't see it happening. It would have to be a colossal fall off. Like, then he would have to be aero blocking like crazy on Tyler Reddick to bring Kyle Larson into this conversation. So if we don't get a caution, this is a 2-car race, and it's looking like another Reddick win. It's beginning to look a lot like Reddick. Everywhere you go, take a look at the 5 and 10. Doesn't look like they're gonna win. Yeah. Bang, bang. Let me go ahead and do my overlay for the post race show. So as a reminder, I'm sure most of you guys know this, but after the race, we will be going live with our post race coverage. I'm going to go ahead and put Reddick's name on the trophy. I know you see it almost every week, but this one might actually be a shorter post race for once. So we don't have much to talk about in terms of happenings. $31.8, $31.4, and Bell is slightly outrunning Larson, but not by much. 2.5 back, so he could get there potentially. But with this time, Larson's gonna maybe cut a little to the leader, but as soon as Reddick gets the lead, if that happens, if and when, it'll probably start to stretch back out. So the only hope Larson has outside of a caution is if Denny Hamlin just blocks Tyler Reddick for everything he's worth. But it looks like we're going to get another repeat winner today. They're talking about Denny Hamlin's comments right now. You can't fool me. You can't fool me. I'm watching on antenna. I'm seeing the future. I don't know, Christian, with the way things have been going at Talladega, we might not get many highlights. We'll be 3 wide fuel saving for that whole first stage. I think it's like a 94 lap first stage or something. It's a really long one. And the second 2 stages, Stage 2 and Stage 3 are shorter. Much shorter. Average last caution, 21 laps to go in the first 8 races this season. Well, that is including Daytona and Atlanta and Bristol. You know, a lot of chaos tracks. We haven't seen much chaos. This is a chaos track, but we haven't seen it today. Very spread apart, very traditional style race. Also, look at this. Larson's falling off. I don't know if they tried to adjust long run speed into the car or something, but they didn't make the right adjustment. Unlike the last run they had, Larson's falling off faster than even Denny is. And Denny's times have equalized with Reddick, so it's looking a bit better for Denny right now. I was expecting to see that interval continue to drop, but golly, he's running 32s right now. Bowman back in 14th. He's close to Preece, but so is Heim to the back of Bowman. So Bowman's going to have to, and he may get a twofer here. 32-2. Heim's just barely outpacing him. They're side by side. Heim's going to make that pass on Bowman pretty easily. And Herbst might follow him through, so Bowman might lose a couple spots here, back to 16th. I thought the same thing, Mr. Kevin Harvick. Kevin just said, I thought Bowman was going to keep driving through the field. It looks like it, but Blake Harris is... it's inexplicable. How do you take a race car that has top 10 pace, really top 5 pace, based off of lap time, top 5, and then take all the speed out of the car? Bowman's still battling, though. So Bowman's best chance right here is probably to try to follow those 23-11 guys through the field if he can, instead of battling Herbst lap after lap. Reddick has chipped away at that lead a bit more. Larson not closing in, so this is a 2-car race. You're gonna get Denny Hamlin winning, or you're gonna get Tyler Reddick winning his 5th of the year. You know, pick your poison. Do you want Denny's car or Denny to win? Because they're both Toyotas. It really doesn't make a difference to me. I've already anointed Denny as, or not Denny, Reddick as our winner. We'll see if that holds. Denny's pretty good. He's not Logano levels of good in terms of aero blocking, but he's a close number 2. 98 lap stage 1. Yeah. So yeah, stage 1 is going to be probably a ton of fuel saving. It's interesting based off of how they run through traffic. One lap they're equalized, and then another lap Reddick's faster by like a 10th or 2. It's not closing quickly, but it is closing. I really didn't like his comments about Busch, and you know, perhaps they're accurate, but I just don't think it was a good gesture to a fellow veteran to make that kind of comment about someone else's career. And Denny is such a privileged driver. Like, he really needs to shut up when it comes to talking about running for a low budget team like RCR. Denny's never had that. Denny's always been in top-notch equipment. Started his career with JGR. He had already run 10,000 races, allegedly, before he came to the Cup Series. So he's had a world of experience. But he's been in the best cars his whole career. Whole career. Not one time did he race for an underfunded Cup team. So to be talking the way he is, looking down on Kyle Busch, it's like that, a fellow veteran, you know, somebody you're supposed to somewhat, at least somewhat respect. You know, you used to be teammates. You know, how many championships did Kyle Busch win while he was teammates with Denny Hamlin? 2. How many championships did Denny win while he was teammates? 0. Still has 0. No matter what points format you use, Denny Hamlin would have 0 championships, and Kyle Busch would at least have 1. So, I mean, needs to watch his mouth. All right, Reddick's there. Maybe. I still think you're going to see fuel saving. Maybe not in the last 2 stages as much. But, you know, used to we would single file out just to make laps. Now we might run double file to just make laps. But the thing is, it's not going to fix the racing. These cars have too much drag, and they don't generate the big enough runs. Very nice, very nice. All right, does Denny have anything left in the tank? Gains quite a bit on corner entry, but not able to hold it through middle of the corner. He didn't really fall off, though, so Denny's running pretty well. Byron just got by Bowman. So Byron saving his day, not going to be the lowest running Hendrick driver on track today. What a day for Kyle Busch. 6 laps. I mean, just like I'm saying, burn the place down. In what world is Austin Dillon like? When Kyle runs in trucks, when he's not in RCR equipment, I mean, sure, he's racing against the truck field, but he's out there running really well. He won a race this year. I mean, you're telling me Austin Dillon is that much better? He's 6 laps faster than... I'm just not buying that. That's a hard sell. Then he's trying to run Reddick back by, trying to. Then he could be having tire issues, and maybe Reddick will have 1-2 in the next 5 laps. That's really hopeful thinking. Reddick looks like maybe in the wall there. Reddick might choke this one away. He's not able to clear Austin Dillon yet, and that's slowing him up. Austin Dillon's mirror driving the leaders. Oh my goodness. Denny's going to come back and take this, potentially. Kind of a jerk move there by Austin to mirror drive the leaders. Oh, man. Bowman's in the way now. Bowman, you have a chance to do the funniest thing ever. All right, Ty's going to force Reddick out of his line there. Then he had to arc it down the track. Going to get a better exit there. This is going to close Denny in quite a bit. Several car lengths. Huge run for Denny. Wow. All right, it's stretching back out here on the back stretch. Reddick's out of fuel. Are you serious? Denny Hamlin's gonna get this on fuel. Are you serious? So Reddick looks like he went to the reserve. So Reddick's probably not gonna make it to the end. Are you serious? Austin Dillon was just mirror driving. He was blocking the leaders for a second. Well, let me update the post race because caution is out. Hooray, hooray. So Reddick's gonna have to come down and pit, so that's gonna drop him back to like at least 15th. Dillon's gonna get his lap back. Bowman's gonna be the first car lap down, so sorry about that. But Reddick is not going to be our winner. So I got to remove his name, period. Tentatively, I'm going to put Hamlin up there, but we'll see if Hamlin's crew chief can do something here. That was something. Where did his job as the caution clock? Yeah, NASCAR slid Rick Ware $1 there. Slid him $1. Said, hey, take the L for us. This is going to come down to pit road. But who's going to gamble and stay out? If I'm the rest of the field, you know, these guys have been the class of the field for much of the race, unless you're maybe Larson, but there's such a gap back to Larson. You probably just stay out and gamble. It's overtime, but there's not going to be enough guys staying out, so that's not a viable strategy. You get passed in the first corner. But man, like if the top 10 just said, hey, we have no shot at the win, let's all just stay out and screw these guys over, that would work. But did anyone stay out? All taking two. Who's the first on four? They're all taking two. That's going to save Reddick's race potentially. Wow, Cody Ware potentially changing the outcome of this race. Potentially. I don't think this works out the way that we're hoping it works out. We'll see. Let me refresh here and grab a replay. Oh yeah, Kyle Busch has got this. Just give him like 10 overtime restarts. He's got it easy. That's actually impossible. He would need like 30 overtime restarts. Then maybe he would have a shot. All right, who died? Who died? Dude, that the Kobempi commercials tick me off. Probably not as much as the Jardiance commercials. Those made me really mad. Yeah, Byron, no. If I'm Bowman, I mean, if you're Bowman, you're already back here. I think they took the wave around because they were a lap down. Dylan got his back naturally, so Bowman's on old tires. Well, it says they took 4. How did he get his lap back? Interesting. So they have him scored on the lead lap and taking 4. I don't know how that happened. I wish I had his radio pulled up. First car on 4 is Briscoe. He hasn't had a good car all day. Unless we get multiple overtime restarts, no one on 4 has a shot. Hamlin and Reddick. I mean, who has the most there? Who has the most sauce? Reddick's car was handling pretty poorly there at the end. So I think Hamlin has a more secure car. He's going to have older left sides, but equal right sides. This is tough. Have the races over, Trisha wants Arby's for dinner. Maybe Bowman can salvage something here, but with the way they've been trending, I don't know. He seems to have decent enough speed early in the run, so maybe he can pick off a couple here. And this probably won't run long enough for him to fall off even further, so we'll see. Where's Blaney? Has anyone seen Ryan Blaney? 25th? Oh my goodness. Say Blaney's the best driver in this car on restarts. 4 wide, further back. Larson to the lead. And Reddick's going to hit Bell. And that's going to move Bell into Hamlin. That has cleared the track for Larson. The Toyotas took each other out. There's still time. There's still time for Reddick to get there, but he's going to need a perfect lap. Oh my goodness. That worked out perfectly. Bell just sabotaged everybody. Uh-oh. Reddick's going to run it in here. It's holding. Reddick got to the inside. Dude, Reddick's got this. Oh my goodness. Reddick is really going to drive back by him. Reddick for his 5th win of the year. He earned that. He earned it. Super disappointing there for the Larson fans watching, but Reddick just drove the wheels off of it. How about that? How about that? Anyone but Larson. Larson haters are just such crybabies. Because why? Why? Is it because of the greatest driver in the world discussion? I understand if you dislike him for what he said. I understand that. But if it just comes down to where he's the, you know, he's the successful guy at the time. If you want to hate on successful people, point your finger at Tyler Reddick. It's not anybody at HMS right now. He almost lucked into that. If you think about it, Reddick probably won the race right there by taking out Bell. Because if Bell held that position, he probably holds up Reddick enough to where Larson gets the win. Unless Bell made a run at it, but I don't know if Bell had the speed. So Reddick took out his 2 Toyota teammates right in front of him, took them out, and one move took out 2 guys. Larson said a word, the word you're not supposed to say, and somehow got a promotion out of it. Oh, wow. What an end of the race. And now we're potentially going to get a Reddick paint scheme because, you know, they hardly ever make 2311 paint schemes, but it would be the ugly brown scheme no one likes that gets the win. It would be. It was destiny for Tyler Reddick to win today. That was insane. Nice. Well, ladies and gents, that's going to do it for our race coverage. We're immediately going to switch over to our post race. So hopefully I see you guys over there. And until next time, have a good one.